Hello, hello. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Angie, episode number 26, where we talk about eco-friendly ideas fighting against the shitstem of the bully dozer. Howdy do, how you. um, okay, so I wanted to talk about the M word, morality. There's like a million M words, but so the thing is, I don't believe in the what I call morality policing, and it's like it took maturing and getting older and more experience in life. It took time for me to realize that side of things, that like mass quantities of humans bicker about morality like it's this big thing just as relevant as all the other stuff like all the stuff that matters, environmental issues, starving people, war, all the things that's happening, like humans will waste time on morality, and there has to be a belief in God or people won't be moral, like moral, like whatever is moral. And is it possible to decide what morality is to the point where you can enforce it by the law? I say no, it can't. If you try to enforce morality, it will be a forever stream of arguments about how to do that and what's considered moral and what isn't. You know, uh, the like what they say, the polarization, is that what they call it, of our nation or our country or whatever, right now. And it's like with Michael and Lucifer, and on and on and on. Like the classic story is that antagonist protagonist thing, Adam and Eve and the serpent. Um, but so like I just like I'm two different times in my life, they called me to do jury duty, and both times they were drug charges. And there's a point when they say, hey, you know, if you don't believe in this for some kind of religious reason, now's your chance to go, and we'll count you as you did your jury duty. That's good enough, sir. You did your service. Thank you. You can go home now. You don't have to do it anymore. And both times I said, yeah, I just can't. You want me to be part of convicting someone because you caught him with, like, but there's exceptions like crystal meth, tweak, like I call it tweaking. Yeah, that should be illegal, like things like that. But like cannabis and the classic, oh my gosh, the classic sacraments, the psychedelic mushrooms and the peyote and I don't want to name too many, turn it into this reference or but but yeah, like the natural sacraments are things that you only have to find one to know that there's probably going to be others, and then you find the others and they have a message. And that's like like that's cruel to the species to try to take that away. It's got to have a place and be understood and then taught how to use it properly. Anyway, so the thing with morality is, like, it seems almost like a Judeo-Christian obsession or something. Like the other Hinduism, Buddhism type things. It's is there a morality? Yeah, but it's more like you're trying to learn knowledge, the knowledge of self and the knowledge of how this works. It's more like it's about that. The scriptures are because you're trying to learn things, not because you're trying to tell people how they're supposed to do it or else. That's, like, I don't really know what I'm talking about as far as that type of comparison, but like the most fundamental component of my spirituality comes from Buddhism, just basic Zen Buddhism of meditation and identifying ego and the anatomy of ego, the within, the microcosm, you know. And that's where it all begins, and then you can learn to love yourself so that you can love others the same way. Now that you know how to love through learning how to know yourself, and now you can know others and love others, and then that's what it is. So you can't police morality. It just, like with like abortion. I don't like to talk about that subject, but the question is, what do we do with an American woman, and then everybody's like, oh, well, it's a woman's right, and woman this and woman that, and I'm like, oh, whoa, you shouldn't have even got to the word woman. As soon as you said American, the argument should have been over, American, we should have the freedom of choice. The proof, can I prove it? Where's my evidence? Where is my evidence that that's the right answer? Well, the evidence is that both sides of the argument are so passionate about their side of the argument in such large quantities. Therefore, there needs to be a choice. We've all seen my tattoo, the temperance card and the tarot deck, Jesus was born in a stable, says the Bible. Jesus was born under a palm tree, says the Quran. Stable, palm tree, stable, palm tree. Temperance says, guys, the healing power of fire, the within. Jesus was born in a stable under the palm tree. Sometimes we could use more temperance, because we argue about arbitrary things, and then morality most of the time is arbitrary, and it's just a perspective. Everything's a perspective. These things are controlled illusions that these people are so passionate about. That's not really what matters. The question is what's sacred? What is sacred? Angie, because that's, well, what do you consider the difference between moral and immoral, Angie? I would say, well, that's the wrong question. The right question is, never mind. The right question, the right question is, what's sacred? What's sacred? Ask, Angie, what's sacred? And I say, well, life is sacred. The experience of life is sacred for the individual that has that life. And that's not just humans or land creatures or animals. It's just all life. A beautiful rock has been given the glory of being a beautiful rock, and a tree has been given the glory of being a tree. And some big, beautiful, has lived a long life trees have souls, Do it. Also, you believe in souls? Whoa. Not in this video. That would make it way too long. That's like, talk about going off on a different direction. What's sacred? So life is sacred, and then children are very sacred, So, like, for example, crimes against children, sex offenders, and abuse towards children, those kind of things are immoral to me. You're like, also, but it's kind of like I'm a borderline anarchist. I'm like, no, we need to be spending our time and money on the things that matter. We can solve our problems. We have the money and the resources to solve all of our problems. It's just, as a species, we don't combine our efforts in the right way because we're just completely out of focus. John Lennon said it best, didn't he? He said, if these people could put down on paper what they're trying to do, I should very much like to see them try to put down on paper what they're trying to accomplish, and he's right. He's the crazy thing, like he says, is he's liable to be, the insane thing is that he's liable to be put away as insane for that, or something like that. I don't know if you've seen that quote, but exactly, it's not true. None of it is true, Suddenly we're hypocrites in our judgment, by their fruits ye shall know them, If they're mean, if how they do it is, if their means is war, it doesn't justify the end. That's not a good means. in a world where there's so many resources and so many other ways we could be doing it. People don't know there would have to be because of greed and all that stuff, you know. So that's why that's also more reason. Like for example, there's people that think that transgender people or sex should be registered as sex offenders. You know, that's a complete mockery to the effort to try to catch real sex offenders. Like me, I'm I'm the oldest of 5 kids. I grew up babysitting my children. Seems like my whole life I raised my son. I mean, I've always been the oldest in every neighborhood, you know, and just always been. I still do. When I see kids, I keep an eye on them, you know, and make sure see they're safe and everything's okay, you know, because I love children. You know, children are one of the most sacred things, you know, and there's not a lot of sacred things with me, you know. Are the things, my magical things for my witchcraft sacred? Yes, but not in the same way at all. Not even remotely. You know, none of my religious things or witchcraft things are anywhere near as sacred as just any life. You know. Um, so just like these kind of things, that's morality to me. You know, sexual morality. You know, just take care of the if sex involves this person and this person, then you know, like take care of yourselves. You know, that might include safe sex. That might, you know, it's when there's harm done one to another or to oneself out of neglect of taking care of oneself or anything like that. You know, that's just like it would be a more, you know, just harm. You know, so like witchcraft. You know, I mean, there's a reason I'm a witch. It just seems like the smartest choice. I don't know why there aren't more witches, honestly, but the not the motto, but I can't remember what it's called. It's not the slogan, but the something like that is you know, do what thou wilt, but harm none. You know, do whatever you want, but just don't harm anything. You know, and I think that's morality in a nutshell right there. And so like the epitome of harming life, you know, therefore it would be children. You know, there's a reason if you look at nature. Did you notice that of every species, like when you look at baby lions, they're cute. When you look at the baby coyotes, they're cute. When you look at baby uh, the bears, they're cute. When you look at you get the idea. You know, why are babies always cute? You know, I think it's to protect because there is a good because most any creature has enough goodness that cuteness makes it not make you don't want to hurt a baby because it's cute, you know, whether it's a goat or anything else, you know. So you know that's morality, and if you're like me and you have a used as a correspondence in such a archetypal way, the Jah, which is Yahweh, YHWH, fire, water, air, and earth, the Tetragrammaton. Um, though within and the tools thereof, uh, the archetypal tools, you know, if you've done that, like it says in John, you know, that's a word, sound, and power. You know, that's we you know, a spell is words, you know, and the world was created with words, you know, the creation story, I've talked enough about that. The creation story is not a science book, not a literal book. That's crazy people do that. It's just some beautiful symbology to take advantage of. It's fundamental if you're going to be continuing on with the book. Um, so what's sacred? So those things are sacred. The word, you know, word. So don't lie. You know, if you promise you're going to be loyal to someone, then be loyal. If you know, just stand by your word, and your word is important. You know, I guess whether Jah's your archetype or not, you know, your deity or not, and then don't harm anything, you know, because kill is too specific. Obviously, you shouldn't kill. You know, really, you shouldn't harm anything at all. And by the time you're going to kill it, you've you know, you've already really gone down that path. You know, so that's just like a really bad form of harming. You know, obviously that's going to be bad. It's a no-brainer. You know. So that's what I think about what morality is to me personally. Like the concept of like when people use the Bible as a morality thing, I'm like, wow, I know way too much about that subject to think that to believe in the idea that there's a man in the sky and the Bible's a book that he wrote type thinking. Like, wow, no. And I don't need either of those things to want to be moral at all. It's just not true. Am I an atheist? No, I'm not an atheist. I'm a theist. But like I said, that obsession with policing morality, my hell, let's get some real work done. Let's go catch the murderers. Why, let's catch the real criminals, the people trying to kill people, or the people trying to hurt children. And why is educating the youth not one of our top priorities besides that? And why isn't seeing some children being educated, and we've invested all this money and love into them and they're doing really well? Why isn't that like more exciting than seeing even a space shuttle or anything? Though I support NASA, and I'm not saying there's anything, that's educating the youth. It's all educating the youth. Science, any accomplishments in science just is good for the youth because it just educates them. So I just think that I believe in the narcissist epidemic. I think that there's been too many people in high places influencing things with their, their narcissistic teachings, and making us feel anxious, like we have to be narcissistic, like to make it in this world, when it isn't really true. We can be damn hippies. So that's what I think. Policing morality is stupid, and that's why I'm going to vote for Kamala. When I listen to Kamala, she talks about the issues and uses a good common sense spirituality about it. Trump just brags, doesn't make any sense, and my head's like flooded with like a bunch of reoccurring nightmares, all these horrible things I've heard him say. We're gonna just kill everybody that we ever didn't like, and we'll never have to look at anybody we don't like ever again. I was like, wow, that just seems like a no-brainer choice. I'm not going to choose him. Gosh damn.